First of all, guys, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Well, before we talk about the music you're making now, I'd like to go back to the beginning first.
Yeah.
So, do you remember the first time you met each other?
The first time we met was at Trance Energy in 2007.
Yes.
Like a whole group of beginning or producers. We all met there, and
we were all pretty shit back then.
Yeah, and I think after that, I think 1 or 2 months later, we started to produce our first track together, and since then we made a lot of tracks together, I guess.
What was that first track
it's called Mustang. We made it in your old house.
Yeah, it was in even my bedroom.
Yeah.
And it got signed to Armin's Armada Music, so that was a good start for us.
If you look back now, from where you are, if you look back now, what do you hear if you hear that song again?
I don't want to hear it.
It's just awkwardness.
It's for us. It's that's so bad. But that's what you have with almost every song.
Yeah, I think everybody has that, and nobody starts perfect. You'll have to learn, and we're still learning now. And probably in 5 years, when we listen to the music that we made now, we're the same.
Yeah.
So.
But back then, where all you producers got together, was that kind of to get people or get up and coming DJs to?
I think just because we all share the same hobby,
okay.
And then we can just talk about because at school I was the only one that liked it back then. Now everybody's making dance music, but back then it was only me on school and maybe two others. So we all shared the same hobby and passion for producing and DJing, and then we all got together and finally could talk about the thing we love. I think that's why we all did that.
Yeah, and we all gave each other tips on music that we made and
feedback.
Yeah.
Is there maybe one thing you remember, something you learned then that you still use now or still?
Then also on the party itself, you can hear which tracks sound good in a big area, and then you can look at that why does this one sound good and the other one doesn't sound before. We thought the more reverb and delay on the sound. At home it sounds really nice and really cool, but in a club it sounds really muddy and then the more dry kind of productions did better in a big arena, and that's why we should focus
what we learned,
on that.
And we still use that in our productions nowadays.
Well, you already mentioned dance music electronic music in general has taken off in recent years. It's become really popular, close to the mainstream now. So is it difficult then in this environment to be different than anybody else?
I think it is more difficult than back in the days. Because now there's so much good producers as well. It's really hard to stand out, and the sound and if you do stand out and have a new sound or new way of producing, in a week there's at least 10 others that do the same.
Yeah.
They just it goes so quick, and everybody looks at all of it. So I think it's really hard to do something different right now.
Is it because everybody is looking at what each other is doing, and then they're playing each other's songs even, and
I think everybody's looking for new sounds as well. And that's, we do that as well. We just look, we more look at totally different genres and try to implement elements of those genres in our own music to create something new. But right now, a lot of guys just look, okay, this is new. We should do something like that. So
and it goes so fast. If you listen to a live set of somebody, he might play a tune that he produced the day before, and 5-6 years ago it was different. When we played, even I think then we played on CDs, but it was still just everything took a lot longer than it does now. And before that, of course, it was vinyl. So if you finished the track, you had to wait at least 3-4 months to even be able to play it. But yeah, it's going so fast right now, so it's hard to stay ahead of things.
Well, you mentioned the different influences you have. Then is there something then that surprises you when you work on a track that you think, oh, we didn't think that this would work, but it did?
Yeah, we always look at totally different genres. I'm like, okay, maybe we should try to get that that vibe, or just like some way of how they produce it, or like some sounds into our music. And sometimes it really works out well. Like we did a track called Bigfoot, and we tried to do that big room trancey sound we have like for Thunder and all the other tracks we did before. And we tried to combine that with like a more trap hip hop kind of vibe and feel to it, like in the drop of like the horn kind of sound. 'Cause it's more common in that kind of music than in the music we used to do, and like the broken kick. So that's how, and it worked out pretty well. But in the beginning, you never know. You're just gonna try something.
Yeah.
That's always the most fun thing in the studio. You just try something, and then you're like, hey, this is actually pretty cool.
We get surprised oftenly, like
Yeah.
you know, like sometimes it's just good luck if you have something. It's not always like totally, thinking through. But it's just sometimes you just try something out and it sounds cool, and then you use it.
But is it then also in the same way, or at the same time, a risk to use certain elements?
It's a risk if you release it, but like in the studio, we're like, you're free. Like you don't, you can only us are the two that hear it, so nobody is gonna hear it. So we can just like experiment like as much as we want, and like if it doesn't sound well,
as long as
then you can always delete it and start
in the end,
something new.
it's up to us whether the people are gonna hear it or not. Okay. Sometimes we have a track that we a little bit insecure about. We just test it and play it at live streams and see what the reactions are online, and then after that you decide whether you want to release it or not.
And then, because you work together, and I can imagine it might be quite difficult at times to find a common ground. So, do you take a step back after you think you finished the song? Do you take a step
Always.
back? And then
I think that the creating process of the track, the melody, the sounds and the elements, it takes maybe like from 3 days to a week usually, and then like the mixing, the mastering, the details, it's maybe 2 months. And like we play it, okay, not good enough. Then we like compare it to like all the other tracks we really like how they sound. Then we tweak it again, and again, and maybe we need something else to add. Like, and that's a really long process for us. We just want the track to be like exactly how we want it to be, because then if we love it, and like if the people don't like it, then we don't really care, because like we did our best and we love how it is right now. Because sometimes when there's a track we don't really like insecure about, and you release it, and then other people think it's not that good, and you feel that, I think the same. It's not.
If you didn't give 100% on the track and you read negative feedback about it, it can touch you. It can hurt you. But if you gave 100% to a track, and you're totally happy with it, and you really support that track, and then it doesn't really matter what people say about it then.
Okay.
If they have negative reactions.
Okay, finally then, and this might be an impossible question to answer, but what for you then makes a good song? What makes a good track?
A good like track in general, or
but just
a WW tune.
Well, for yourself, you can even certain elements that you need, not necessarily technical, but maybe an emotional connection or something like that.
I think like what we always try, even if it's like a dance floor tune, we try to have like some emotional melodic connection. Like for instance, we did a track Lift Off or Thunder. Like the breakdowns are really melodic and has like some certain like feel or vibe to it. That's what we. And what's really important is that there's like a lot of energy, like the build up, like the drop needs like really energetic, because that's what we love. And that's what we like to play as well.
Whether we have a melodic drop or like a more anti-climax kind of things, it always has to have that energy for us.
If it doesn't, then
it makes you want to go. It has to make you want to go crazy.
It needs to be like all the tracks we want to sound like really big. Like we want to sound like it's already like in a big hall, but they're not that muddy as it. So we
still very tight produced.
Yeah, so that takes a while.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you
for having us.